afford to save both twins. Sudan's war left one mother with an impossible choice. Toma and her family fled their home in Sudan after fighting between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces RSF. They were forced to flee with only their lives, leaving their children in a malnutrition ward. Sudan is currently experiencing one of the world's worst humanitarian emergencies, with 3 million children under 5 actually malnourished. The hospitals left are overwhelmed, and the life-saving medicines needed by the children must be paid for by their families. Toma had to make the impossible choice. She chose her twin, Masajid, to receive antibiotics for one child. Survival rates in the world are low, and none of the children in this world will survive. The city has been gripped by war for 2 years, turning it into a battlefield. Displaced by war, united by film, Khartoum finds humanity amid Sudan's crisis. Khartoum is a documentary about the civil war in Sudan, featuring 5 Sudanese citizens, a civil servant, a key lady, a resistance volunteer, and 2 street boys who collect plastic bottles. The film, produced by Sudanese and British filmmakers, was premiered at Sundance and is featured in the BFI London Film Festival. The documentary tells the emotional stories of the 5 characters, including a civil servant, a resistance volunteer, a tea stall owner, and a civil servant. The film was created using oral storytelling, direct reenactment, and other elements. The filmmakers hope to help people outside Sudan understand and heal through filmmaking despite the challenges of war and displacement. The film team was diverse, with directors from different genders, ethnicities, and religions working together to create a unique and powerful narrative. The Sudanese Armed Forces (SAF) and the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) have increased their drone capabilities in response to the ongoing conflict in the country. The SAF has deployed the locally produced Suffolk drone, which has a range of 600 kilometers and is equipped with anti-jamming technology. The Suffolk is designed as a one-way attack vehicle or kamikaze and is an upgrade from modified off-the-shelf drones used by both sides for kamikaze attacks. Turkey has supported the SAF through the sale of Bayraktar TB2 and Akinci drones. The RSF has increased its own drone use from its base in near South Darfur using Chinese-made FH-95 kamikaze drones. The RSF has used its watering drones attack power stations, refineries, and weapons factories in the region. The SAF has boosted defenses around military sites. However, analysts urge that losses suffered by one party do not necessarily lead to gain for the other. Sudan Forgotten War, Starvation and Siege. After 18 months of siege, al-Fashir in Sudan's Darfur region faces a catastrophic humanitarian crisis. The Relief Support Forces (RSF) has sealed off all food and aid routes, trapping hundreds of thousands of civilians with supplies, gun, and hunger stripping. Survivors say they now face a grim choice: death by bombs or by starvation. For over 500 days, Sudan's al-Fashir, the capital of Darfur, has been under siege by the Rapid Support Forces (RSF). Once a thriving trade hub, it now stands as the Sudanese army's last stronghold in western Sudan. The RSF's blockade has turned the city into a prison for civilians trapped between warring factions. Children line up at the city's only functioning community kitchen, hoping for a single meal. Supplies have vanished and milk kits are empty. The UN World Food Programme warns that mass starvation is imminent, as all efforts to deliver food and medical aid have failed. Deaths from malnutrition are already being reported. RSF's tightening blockade. Satellite images reveal the RSF has built a complete barrier around al-Fashir, cutting off entry and exit routes. Video footage shows RSF fighters stopping and interrogating civilians attempting to leave, accusing them of collaborating with the army even when unarmed and in plain clothes. The siege prevents food, medicine, and humanitarian supplies from entering the city. The RSF is using artillery and drones to bombard homes, hospitals, displacement camps, and kitchens. In just 1 week, over 70 people were killed and dozens injured. Since the siege began in May 2024, thousands have died, with survivors describing constant shelling and the terror of hunger. More than 400,000 residents have fled, yet hundreds of thousands remain trapped. With every passing day, hunger and disease claim more lives. As one survivor lamented, if it is not the bombs that kill us, it will be hunger. Global silence and outrage. Viewers and commentators express deep frustration. Why are the world leaders? Shame on Islamic nations for not providing refuge. This is what real starvation looks like. The crisis highlights global inaction and the silence surrounding one of the world's worst humanitarian disasters. As Bashir's suffering continues, unseen and unresolved, its people enduring a slow death from hunger and war while the world looks away.
President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, visited Egyptian capital, Cairo, for an official visit. He was received at Al-Ittihadiyya Palace by Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, where the two leaders hold a session of bilateral talks. TSC President is accompanied during the visit by Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ambassador Muhyiddin Salim, and Director of General Intelligence Service, General Ahmed Ibrahim Mufaddal. Member of the Transitional Sovereignty Council and Chairperson of the Higher Committee of Preparing the General Environment for Citizen Return, Lieutenant General Engineer Ibrahim Jaber and the Governor of Khartoum, Ahmed Uthman Hamda, inaugurated the Bank of Khartoum in the presence of State Government Secretary General Al-Hadi Abdullah and Director of Branch Administration of the Bank of Khartoum, At-Tijani Karar. Prime Minister Professor Kamel Idris launched the national initiative to support the health sector, which aims to mobilize the necessary financial support to meet the country's health needs over the next 3 months. The Prime Minister also opened the door for contribution and donation during the ceremony, which was attended by several ministries from the Government of Hope. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Ambassador Muhyiddin Salim met in his office in Port Sudan with the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to Sudan, Ali bin Hassan Ja'far. Ambassador Ja'far conveyed his congratulations to the minister on his appointment as a Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation in the Government of Hope, and also extended the congratulations of His Excellency, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Minister of Culture and Information and Tourism, Khalid Al-Aisar, received in his office in Port Sudan the newly appointed in charge of affairs of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China to Sudan, Mr. Zhu Jian. The minister handed over official invitations to his 3 Chinese counterparts in the fields of culture, tourism, and media to visit Sudan at the earliest possible opportunity. The Chinese in charge of affairs presented an invitation for the minister to participate in the 7th China Arab Radio and Television Cooperation Forum, scheduled to be held next month in China. Sudan produced 53 tons of gold in the first months of 2025, generating $909 million from exports. The state-run Sudanese Minerals Resources Company said the official figures do not include production from mines in regions controlled by the paramilitaries, Rapid Support Forces RSF, or rebel groups in Darfur and South Kordofan, where a significant portion of the country's mineral wealth is located. In a statement, the company reported that the output also generated domestic revenues grow by 5.06% compared to previous years, reaching over £300 billion. Sudan's gold industry is dominated by artisanal mining, which employs an estimated 2 million people. However, the state has long struggled to control the sector, with the large quantities of gold being smuggled abroad to markets like the UAE and Egypt. This illicit trade deprives the country of foreign currency needed for vital imports, including fuel and wheat.
The Farangabia is one of the popular games spread in Western Sudan. It is a game that simulates the running of gazelles. This means the Farangabia is inspired from the local environment. It takes its musical rhythms and expressive movement from animals. The Farangabia has a wonderful musical rhythms according to the social reality of Darfur society. The Farangabia is famous among the ancient four tribes. However, due to the cultural intermingling and intermarriage among Darfur tribes, it has become national game and festival ritual in Darfur, particularly during weddings and circumcision. The Farangabia game is mostly performed by women, girls, and children, where it takes the form of women dancing carnival, with the women running a long distance and stop to play with their hairs and tilting their head left and right. Also, they hold particles in their hands, making movement amidst resembling. Also hold particles in their hands, making movement resembling gazelles amidst chant, the ululations of girls and rhythms of the Nugara. The Farangabia has a social and cultural dimensions, as it is able to unify the conscience of Darfuri society by almost entering every family's home in Darfur. The rhythms of Farangabia had an important role and a great influence in the cultural and social heritage in Darfur. It contributes to social, psychological, and physical stability. The heritage of Farangabia appears in form of a group that roams on the village, dancing and carrying the material heritage in their hands. The Farangabia is a Sudanese distinctive folk rhythm.
The poet Mustafa Muhammad Sanad was born in 1939 in Omdurman, Sudan. He was educated in Sudan and obtained bachelor degree in commerce from the Department of Postal Science and studied law. Is one of the most prominent Sudanese poets and are represented a brilliant name in the sky of modern Arabic poetry, especially in Sudan, where his poetry was associated with the homeland identity in the human conscience. Mustafa Sanad. His poems are characterized by the noisy musical rhythm and its unique dictionary in terms of pronunciations or image drawn by the word, such as vocabulary of the ancient sea and the perchant and the water thread. It is also characterized by the beauty, disclosure and disclosure that it creates. As for isms, it revolves around meditation on existence. It rushed meditation in the existence on the varied in as it last days in musical, emotional meditation and the contents of social and moral reform. Mustafa Sanad worked in the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to which he was assigned for 4 years. Then practiced journalism in mid-1980, where he worked as editor-in-chief of Al Khalij Day newspaper in Qatar. After returning from the state of Qatar, he worked in the daily press in Sudan, and then he became chairman of the board. Mustafa Sanad is one on the board of the Forest and Desert School and the Diwan of his poetry, The Ancient Sea, is one of the first introduction to the school, along with the Diwan of Abanos Forest by Ahmad Salah. The poet Muhammad Ibrahim al-Makki described him as the poet who dazzled them at the beginning of their literary career, according to the poet Muhammad Abdul Hayy. The poems at Saad is one of the strongest music and people, and it is full of rhythms. Mustafa Sanad died in 2008 at Abha Hospital in Saudi Arabia after a long struggle with illness.
يا سكة الزول البعيد يا حليله لما توارى غاب، خليته يمشوا في العيون دمعات ألم دمعات عذاب. أتمنى وعده يكون حقيقة وعهده ما خدعة سراب. أتمنى في لهفة محب شال الصبر لما الصبر في قلبه داب، يرحل قطار ويعود قطار وتصبح الليل الغريب طلعت نهار، وجيني منك أنا بس خطاب. أكتب لي حتى الناس بقيت لما يفوتوا أقول بسلم للجميع، خايف يبين خاطري الكثير وارجع براي أسقي الدموع. قلبا سقاك موسم فرح موسم حنان موسم ربيع. أكتب لي خلي النار تموت والهم يفوت، أنا غير حروفك بفقد الدنيا وبضيع. أكتب لي يا غالي الحروف